All right. Thanks for coming to the podcast. We'll start off where everyone else does. As far as earliest childhood memory, what are we getting into?
Earliest childhood memory.
Way
We're
back.
jumping right in. Yeah, we're jumping right in. Earliest childhood memory. Okay, this is kind of a wild one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so random. But I don't. I think I was like three. I don't even know if this was a real memory or not. But it's just like what I remember. There were these like giant like rubber. When I say giant, I mean like yay big
Yeah.
rubber dinosaur things that I
Okay.
used to have as a kid. They probably were ridiculously expensive, but I used to have a whole bunch of them. I love dinosaurs,
Yeah.
and I remember going to a store and buying a Velociraptor. I can remember the smell of the plastic of the dinosaur, and
Yeah.
I remember holding it, and that's it. That is my earliest childhood memory. Is it real? I have no idea, but we're gonna we're gonna assume it's real.
Hey, we'll
So
take it. We'll take it. Yeah, I just remember playing in a closet in preschool with glue all over my hands because I just liked putting glue on my hands, letting it dry, and then peeling it off. And I was like, that's what that's what I was
that
into. You were into
it's
dinosaurs,
it's
and
our
I was into
like
glue.
come to movement, or it's that come to moment where you like all of a sudden start experiencing reality.
Yeah.
Yep, that was
Um,
that moment.
so as far as like growing up, elementary, middle school, did we like school at all? Mostly just sports. What was going on there?
Yeah, so I moved from Vegas.
Okay.
My dad went to prison when I was four.
All right.
And so we moved from Vegas to Salt Lake. And I went to like some weird like prep school.
Yeah.
Um, my grandpa, I don't know exactly how my mom paid for it. I don't think she did. I think I was on like a scholarship that my grandpa was able to get me through some like church stuff.
Yeah.
But I went to some prep school because we were just moving so much.
Okay.
So that way I was like always like I could, stay there because it was like a private thing. Um, so yeah, I was there for a few years.
Hmm.
And then yeah, and then we moved. My mom remarried, and we moved to Farmington, where I went to elementary school there.
Okay.
Um, and then I started playing like soccer. I was really good at soccer, and I played
Hmm.
soccer for a few years. And then my stepdad passed away when I was
Okay.
10, and then we moved just like 15 minutes south to a
Okay.
little town called Centerville, where I went to the elementary school. It was right by my house. Started playing football.
Yeah.
Centerville Junior High. Went to Viewmont High School, and then just like continued playing football.
Okay. So
Um,
we'll rewind a hair. I didn't give you much direction on
oh
that.
yeah,
I feel like in my life growing up, like divorce was kind of the normal thing. A bunch of my friend and the friend group that was kind of normal, and
oh
other than
yeah.
that, my life was more or less upper middle class. Just with life was just nice, and it didn't really seem too different. Now with your dad going to jail and your stepdad passing away. Was there ever a like a feeling of like, hey, like, is this normal? Is this different? How did you handle those types of things at that age?
I knew it wasn't normal.
Okay.
I'm the oh, I have a very interesting family. Very interesting family. So blood siblings. I have one younger brother, but I
Okay.
have nine total siblings, but eight of them are half brothers and sisters.
Okay.
So they're my dad's kids, different moms.
Yeah.
Um, and so it was just me and my little brother. My little brother was like 6 months old. My dad went to prison. But like being the oldest, I think it's just like kind of naturally like figure things out a little bit quicker with that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Um, and I think I also just kind of had to.
Hmm.
Um, and so, yeah, I knew it wasn't normal. I knew that running away from Vegas, as much as my mom tried to like play it off, I knew we were running away.
Okay.
Um, and so, like, running away from Vegas and, like bouncing between family members' houses and uh, like all that kind of stuff. Like, there wasn't like I knew it wasn't normal. I knew
Okay.
it wasn't normal.
And
Yeah.
do you feel like you're still able to connect with kids, make friends easily? Like what
Oh
was
no, no,
oh
I was I was a mess. Um,
no.
yeah, no, not at all. I a lot of it's this weird like I've regained a lot of my memories from when I was a kid.
Okay.
There was actually a period of time when I had no recollection of like anything. There was like a void
Yeah.
of memories, and there still is from ages like 10 to 12. I don't really
Okay.
remember. I have like very specific memories, but they're also like traumatic memories, so it
Yeah.
makes sense why they're still there. But outside of that, there's nothing.
Yeah.
But I've been able to regain a lot of my other memories, like in between there. And like, there's this one memory that I have of this was right around when my dad was getting out of prison. This was February of 2007 because my dad got out of prison December 2006, and then we started going to these like weird counseling sessions with him around that time. Um, and so I would go to these therapy sessions where
Yeah.
I would, I'd have a therapy session with a therapist, and then I would
Yeah.
have a therapy session with my dad with a therapist, and then with my mom and my dad with a therapist. And it's like all of these like weird, crazy things.
Yeah.
And that also my stepdad was there at the time. And so like we would have, I mean, I remember a lot of them.
That's a lot
There was a
of
lot of,
therapy.
there was a lot of therapy. And a big part of it was there's so much that goes into this, but just to like keep it on
Yeah.
track. But
Hey,
um
I got time. I got time.
yeah, but it's I remember in particular I had a meeting with the therapist. It was one-on-one, and she was, just like your standard questionnaires that
Yeah.
therapists, go through. Um, but it was tailored to kids.
Okay.
Like they're not just asking you, do you have anxiety? Do you
Right.
have depression? Like, they're not, it's not that straightforward. But one of the questions was, do you have troubles making friends?
Yeah.
And I remember distinctly putting like,
All the way to the
no,
right, whatever.
yeah, like I didn't know, like I really have a hard time making friends. Like I can tell that people don't like me,
Hmm.
like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, uh, oh yeah, no, I totally had a hard time with it. I
Hmm.
had friends,
Yeah.
and I think I had a I had a skewed perception of it. I did get bullied quite a bit, but I also still had really good friends.
Yeah.
And so I think it was just a skewed perception just because of getting bullied. But
Hmm.
yeah,
As far as the therapy goes, I feel like I went to so my parents got divorced and it went very amicably. And they're like, yeah, therapy would be good. Mental health was big in our family. But I never felt like for an extended period of time they were kind of just like checking up on me. As far as like your therapy went, how do you feel? Was it helpful? Was it not helpful? What were
I
you
don't
feeling?
know. I
Yeah.
don't know. I went to therapy pretty consistently from ages like 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
I remember meeting with a therapist in Salt Lake. I remember exactly what the office looked like, and I was like 4 or 5 years old.
Hmm.
We just moved back to Utah, or we just moved to Utah from Vegas. That's when we, kind of had to get away, and uh, that, yeah, that like again from ages like 4 or 5 years old. I can't remember if I was 4 or 5, but
Yeah.
around ages like 4 or 5 until I was like 12, I was in therapy nonstop.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Hmm. Well,
To be completely honest, like the therapy as an adult that I've
yeah.
done has been extremely helpful.
Yes.
Um, I couldn't tell you if there was a positive or negative. There's nothing negative. I couldn't
Okay.
tell you if there was a positive outcome from it. And I'm sure there was, but I have no way to know if there was or not.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
you
that's
know,
good. Like so one of the therapists I went to, I won't call it like aggressive ADHD, but it was your good ADHD. Like if I didn't take my Concerta, like I wasn't getting much done. I was just space cadet. And they threatened me if I didn't go home and mow the lawn that they were going to send me to a homeless shelter. Um, so like,
that's great. That's great for a kid's mental health.
and I was like, I don't really know how this is gonna work out. I don't really want to be told what to do, but like, okay, like I'll mow the lawn, like, but it
Yeah.
was, I don't feel like this is like the way that a mental health professional should be taking this approach, but you're an adult, I'll listen to you.
Yeah. That's so
Um,
funny.
so when you were in middle school, did you like school at all? Was it an escape? What was school like for you?
Oh no, I hated school.
Okay.
I don't know how I made it through all the schooling that I made it through. I've got a master's degree and I'm a dietitian.
Oh, let's
Had to,
go.
I had to do clinical rotations. Like I was in college, graduate school for a decade. I don't know how I did because I hated it. I hated every second of it the whole way.
Yeah.
I don't know how I was as successful as I was with it. But in middle school and high school, like middle school, I struggled. Like
Yeah.
in so there's this so we're just really diving into it.
Yeah.
I had some so pre death of my stepdad.
Okay.
I was in like the smart kid school. I
Yep.
was in, I forget what they called it. But it basically was like I was in the
Yeah.
classes where the kids who excelled,
Hmm.
basically like honors classes in
Yeah.
high school, but for elementary school.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Um, like straight A's or whatever they give you numbers in
Yeah.
elementary school. I was reading at a college reading level. I was winning chess tournaments and like I was a nerd. I was a big time nerd. I
Let's
was like,
go.
I mean, I was like, I was really, really smart as a kid.
Yeah.
Um, and then when Chad died,
Hmm.
it like rewired my brain.
Fuck.
And I ended up, I literally went from being one of the smartest kids in the smart kid class
Yeah.
to being almost borderline in a special needs class.
Really.
Getting like assistance from like teachers outside. Like I had to like leave class and like go to like the special room and
Yeah.
uh, like I was one of those kids is what it ended up turning into. I went from reading at a college reading level to reading at a second grade reading level in fifth grade. Um, like my whole like everything like flipped upside down on itself. And then from there, I just like really struggled to get back. And I think
Yeah.
there was a level of frustration with it where I knew that I was smart,
Right.
but now all of a sudden I'm dumb and I like can't figure out why. And so it turned into a resentment and hatred for school.
Yeah.
And in ninth grade, I actually like failed most of my classes in ninth grade. And so, like I had to do, I had to have because I'm in ninth grade's high school, so I ended up having to do a handful of packets my senior year just to like make up for
Hmm.
those classes. Um, but I really struggled through elementary and junior high. High school became, I don't know. High school was boring,
Okay.
and so I never went to class. I still ended up in an okay spot. Like I
Yeah.
graduated with like a 3.2.
Okay.
Like I was fine.
Yeah.
Especially considering failing a lot of classes in ninth grade. But I never ever went to class. I would just show up and take tests and turn on my homework
Yeah.
uh, and would get
So,
decent
so,
scores
so
on
your
everything.
brain turned back on.
Kind of, but it was still in a the brain. Yeah, there were aspects that did. I think I was good at manipulating the system.
Okay.
To be completely honest, it's not that I don't think I got smarter. I think I figured out how to manipulate a broken system because our education system is just a mess, uh, and so I was able to manipulate a system to my favor,
Yeah.
and I figured out how to do that. My brain didn't turn back on until like my second or third year of college.
Really.
Truly didn't turn back on until then. I don't think.
And so have you gotten any good, like, not necessarily medical research, but any like direction? Obviously, we know what happened, but do you
Mm-hmm.
know kind of neurologically what kind of, is it a defense mechanism? Is it
Yeah, oh yeah.
uh,
So it's really not uncommon to see like where you'll have a traumatic life event happen
yeah.
and your brain will rewire itself to forget that event
Okay.
because it's like I don't this is causing damage. I don't want this. Just like if you have cancer. Like we currently me and you sitting here have cancer cells in our body,
Right.
but our body is doing everything it can to get rid of it.
Hmm.
And so your brain does the exact same thing, but it can't just get rid of neurons.
Right.
So it has to rewire pathways. And this is why I think there's that void from ages like 10 to 12
Right.
that I don't really remember much, except for a few like key individual, like us moving from Farmington to Centerville.
Yeah.
Like I remember my mom telling me about that. Like a couple of these like really key, like the traumatic events that happened.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, like that happens naturally. In the process, your neurons get rewired.
Yeah.
There's reconnecting of synapses and different things, and so it can completely
Right.
dismantle someone's mind, which is why you'll see people who, you know, like a spouse dies or, something like anything like that happens. And then like their lives flip upside down.
Right. Yeah.
And because it happens as adults
Hmm.
and, it can be a lot more prevalent in kids because you'll see a kid who was this like pinnacle of your golden child turn into, a spawn of Satan
Yeah.
overnight.
Yeah.
It's just so much because kids' emotions, their prefrontal cortex is still developing. There's still all of this stuff happening, and so it's not uncommon to see these things happen. And the more traumatic events that happen, the
Right.
more and more prevalent this becomes. And this is why you see. It's funny. I just recorded another podcast yesterday, and uh, I was talking about this ACEs score. I don't know if you've heard of this or not. I can't remember what it stands for, but it's like a Ace of Hearts.
Okay.
ACEs. I don't remember what the acronym stands for, but this ACEs score determines your outcomes.
Okay.
Or it doesn't determine them. It is a very accurate determinant of lifetime outcomes based on childhood trauma.
Oh,
And
okay.
so if you and it's pretty spot on. We're looking at decades of research that's behind the score, and it's pretty accurate. So most people 1 to 3,
Mhm.
like for you, divorce, like you're going to score one. You might have had some other stuff you obviously haven't told me, but like we're like most people score like a 1 to 3. Like
Yeah.
you're going to experience some sort of trauma in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Um, it's natural. So most people score 1 to 3. There's not really anything that comes from
Yeah.
that. Once you get 4, 5, 6, now you're increasing your risk of drug addiction, alcohol abuse, uh, issues with like crime,
Okay.
different things like that. Your likelihoods just increase.
Yeah.
Once you get above a 6, this is where you start to get into categories where it's like we're looking at, you know, 70, 80, 90% chance that you'll end up a drug addict,
Yeah.
uh, alcoholic, all of the above,
Yeah.
dead in prison by the age of 27.
Okay.
Um, and so like for myself, I scored my score is an 8. And a big reason for this is that rewiring. Like
Right.
you have the traumatic event, and it just like stacks up. And then your brain almost can't fix itself. And then
Right.
you end up with these behaviors that, like, whether you're trying to numb something out with drugs or alcohol,
Yeah.
or you have, uncontrolled behaviors, and you now are all of a sudden like you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing in society.
Yeah.
And so it can cause all of these different problems that then lead to worse outcomes.
Okay.
Um, and so I'm very lucky that I didn't have any of those problems. But I know this is a very long, I know I've kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
went in a
Yeah.
big circle here, but yeah, there's a literal rewiring that happens. And that's why
Mhm.
you'll see negative outcomes in people's lives from traumatic events, because
Yeah.
your brain gets rewired.
If you're gonna go take the test, is it like online somewhere? You just look
Yep.
up ACEs
Yeah,
test?
you can just look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, you can look it up. And I took that test when I was like 21 or 22.
Yeah.
Um, my wife is a therapist.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about that, and she learned about it while she was in school. And she came home and she was like, "I've been thinking about you all day, about what your score is. You need
Oh
to take
no.
this." Because she know we've been together since we were 14 years old.
Yeah.
So like we have experienced some of these things together.
Okay.
Like, like she also comes from a broken home. a single
Yeah.
mom, like abusive, her like an abusive domestic situation. Like
Yeah.
we both come from similar things like that. And so like she scored like a six, I think, a
Okay.
five, a six, something like that. I can't remember exactly. And she was like, I got to know what yours is. Like,
Yeah.
you had these extra things happen. I want to know. And she was blown away when I came out with an eight.
Yeah.
Basically, the only thing I didn't experience was sexual trauma.
Okay.
Um, and so, yeah, it just, and those, I mean, that's a whole other ball game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and she was just like, oh my gosh.
I
And
think
then told me all the stats and everything behind it.
I think if my wife was to take that test, it would be like a -1. Like she just loved her childhood.
You know what?
Like
Yeah,
that's
it's,
amazing. She's just so happy. She smiles so much. I'm like, this is great. I love to see
yeah.
it.
I like, when we have our own kids, we have no kids.
Yeah.
And like when we have our own kids, like a big part of, so I believe, and this isn't, I don't, this isn't like for your wife, for instance,
Yeah.
like obviously everything is, worked
Mhm.
out and everything. And some people it works out fine, works out fine on both
Yeah.
fronts. But I do believe that there is an aspect of like, ultra runners, for instance. There's a reason every ultra runner has trauma. Like there's a
Yep.
reason we're all ultra runners that are successful always have trauma behind them.
Yeah.
Because those difficult things that you experience in your life are what build you and shape you into the person that you become.
Yes.
And sometimes people let it break them.
Yeah.
Sometimes their brain just breaks them. Uh, but then other times, again, it can reshape you into becoming, a strong, resilient person.
Yeah.
Um, and this is why we see people like Jocko Willing, for instance, or
Mhm.
David Goggins. These guys that have, David Goggins. I don't know Jocko's past, but like David Goggins, we know his childhood and all the
Yeah.
crap he experienced. Then you have Jocko, who served several tours as a Navy SEAL in Afghanistan
Yeah.
and experienced some of the most traumatic combat experience that you can experience. And now he is who he is, uh, and so yeah, again, these things shape you into who you are. It's like there's a part of me that when I become a parent, I'm like, I need to somehow teach my kids this trauma without giving them the trauma. Like, like I want to find a way to be like to 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 help build that resiliency
Yeah.
and that strength without having them have to break in some way, shape, or form and have to experience the pain
Right.
of it all. And so it's like a big goal of mine as a parent because of what I've experienced.
Yeah.
I don't want to just give my kids a perfect future, like a perfect life, because
Right.
you're not gonna, like, you don't learn anything from that. And I think that's a mistake that, especially, like, I think we see it with like the Gen X population.
Yeah.
A lot of their parents are from the silent generation and then maybe boomers,
Yeah.
where you get these extremely resilient, like hardworking individuals who experience a lot of traumas, from food insecurity to
Right.
war to all these different things, and then they wanted to create these perfect lives for their
Yes.
kids. And then we see, like Generation X for the most part, and even millennials, you
Yeah.
get boomers of the silent generation, are kind of a broken generation where
Yeah.
you have a lot of like the victim mentality and a lot of just, I don't like to use the word soft, but it's the word that's coming to mind. But like,
Yeah.
just that softer personality,
If
less drive, and
if
go
there's
ahead.
no experience to build a callus, there's
Yes,
not going to
exactly.
be a callus. You're going to have nice soft hands.
Uh
You're
huh.
going to wake up and you're just going to take your time because you're in no rush. Like
Yes.
there's not that urgency because that's just what's been developed. And
Hmm.
when I talk to a lot of people, it's like adults, I'm like, you raised us. Like this is
Yeah.
this is on you.
Yeah. No, it's like I think it's a mistake that's been made, and I don't think like we can point fingers, but I also don't think it's fair to point fingers because for the most part, a lot of the parents from those like earlier generations,
Yeah.
they just didn't want their kids to experience what they had to experience.
Correct. Well,
And
so like
so, but that's the mistake.
yeah. Yeah. And
That's the
I think
mistake.
it's really tough because like you talked about food insecurity, I don't know anybody unless they're extremely, extremely poor the friends, like no one was going hungry at my age.
we we had we had some food
Well,
security
yeah,
issues,
but
but
no,
but
100%. But
yes,
I
it's
feel like that, and like I grew up extremely soft. Like even though we had some struggles at some points when our parents were divorced, I had no
yeah.
idea. I thought everybody went on 2 vacations during the school year, and like we had
Two
family.
Christmases.
Right, yeah. It was unbelievable. And I think it was until like 17 or 18 when I started like dating other people and like they were eating dinner in front of the TV. They weren't really talking. There was like and the family dynamic wasn't great. I was like, what is I like
Oh yeah, we
bro, I was thrown off. But I always played sports, and if you're playing sports, you're usually playing with other affluent kids. So like for
Mhm.
me, definitely grew up very soft and it showed.
Well,
So,
and I was lucky enough to grow up where I grew up, you know, and
yeah.
I think environment's a huge thing. And I give a lot of credit to the fact that I didn't grow up. Like it's a blessing and a curse. So uh the year my stepdad died, just a few months prior, my aunt died. She had it was a good passing. Uh she had at the time one of the most severe cases of rheumatoid arthritis that was like on record. She
That's wild.
was like on the forefront of a lot of research for a lot of medications because it was
Yeah.
so bad that she was just like, throw all the drugs at me. So a lot of the research, like she was one of the most common medications that's given out for rheumatoid arthritis now.
Yeah.
She was like the catalyst for the beginning of that research project in the state of Utah.
Okay.
And
Did
so
she did she get a percentage of that? I feel like,
I think she did. I think
hey,
she
that's
did.
great.
Yeah,
Great.
but because she couldn't work, she couldn't do
Yeah.
anything. She lived a rough, really rough life. So her passing was really sad,
Yeah.
but it was like the rheumatoid arthritis ended up causing her kidney failure, and she passed at like
That's
55,
wild.
56 years old. Um, but she lived. My grandparents obviously had to care for her most of her life, and
Yeah.
so because she was so physically handicapped because like her hands were stuck like this because it was so bad. So she had to be cared for most of her life. But she lived in a condo in Centerville,
Okay.
just down the road from my gym here. And she passed, and then a few months later, my stepdad passed. And so there's like a blessing and a curse there where like my aunt passed, but my grandparents were about to sell this condo. And then it ended up we ended up needing it. And so instead of having to move to, Utah's not bad.
Okay.
There really is like not a lot of bad places that you can move.
That's nice to hear.
But in the same breath, like we would have ended up having to move to like West Valley or something like this where it is a lot less affluent. There's a lot more problems with drugs, crime,
Yeah.
whatever. And so I could have ended up in a much worse situation, but instead I was living in one of the most religious, one of the most affluent communities in the state of
Yeah.
Utah because that just happened to be where this condo was. So I'm very blessed and lucky to have grown up in the environment that I grew up in because
Yeah.
it's what has it's given me opportunities that I wouldn't have had in other places. And so
Okay.
environment is very important with a lot of this stuff. And I think that's something people, forget to talk about sometimes.
Right.
I there is still an aspect of, you can still escape your environment. It's just harder. The worse the environment is, the
Right.
harder it is to get out.
Yeah. Just like
So
that
I am,
or like your percentages change.
yes. And so I'm very lucky to have had the environment that I grew up in because it is a reason that I wasn't it's part of the reason I wasn't a statistic.
Yeah. So
So
so when you're in high school and did you ever think about going to college? What did your path
mhm.
look like as you're going through college and how did you pick it or did somebody help?
Yeah. So I, I knew that, I wasn't the smartest kid
Mhm.
and I knew that I was going to need sports to get me to where I wanted to go. And
Okay.
so I very much went all in on football.
Nice.
Um, I used to weigh 285 pounds. I was a big boy.
Let's
Um,
go. What position were you
yeah,
playing?
I was a defensive end. Yeah, I
Oh,
was a defensive end,
no.
and so I did. I like put my whole life into it. I would wake up at 4 a.m. before school and go train, and then go to football class and train, and then go to football practice after school, and like I dedicated my whole life
How much were
to
you eating?
football. I was eating a lot. I was
A
eating a
gallon
lot.
of milk a day? How, what was your secret?
Yeah, I don't know how my mom afforded it. I did eat a lot of Little Caesars pizza because it was $5. Um, so a lot of stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I yeah, I basically again just dedicated my whole life to that, and I ended up with a whole bunch. So I was all state. I was first team all state. I I was also ranked fifth in the nation in the discus. I and then I led the state, or I was tied for first in the state for sacks. Like I was really good at
You were
I was
him.
really good at what I did. So I had scholarships all over the place.
Yeah.
And track, I actually only did track for 1.5 seasons.
Yeah.
And so no one knew who I was. Like I did half of a season. The second half of my junior year, I was on the track team, and then my senior year, I did track as well, and
Yeah.
showed up to this national meet because I placed in state and did all that, and so I show up to this national meet. I get fifth place, and uh, it it got the attention of a couple of schools, but no one knew who I was. So it
Right.
like was like kind of last second where like we're like you can come play for us, but like we have no idea who you are.
Right.
But I ended up getting a dual ride scholarship, which NIL didn't exist at the time. So
Right.
that's how you got paid. If you wanted to get paid, you
Yeah.
had to do two sports. And so I had a dual ride scholarship to Weber State for football and track. And
Okay.
so I took that and then quit day one.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Just didn't like
Um,
track, or was just you weren't going to do it anyway?
no, it just wasn't the same.
Okay.
It just wasn't the same. And actually one of the owners of this gym helped me decide. He's like, you want to do football or you want to do school? Because you got to pick.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to go to medical school at the time. And
What
so
what put you in that mindset?
I don't, I just wanted to, it was the path that I saw to be the most successful version of myself.
Okay.
Um, and so I ended up actually getting accepted to dental school. And now I'm a dietitian. So, but
Hey, I
yeah,
mean, dental school, those numbers for suicides are high. So,
oh,
and
and I
cheating
was
on your
already
wife,
at risk there.
and
So,
cheating on your wife. We
um,
don't need that.
yeah, but yeah, so I'm a dietitian now, but yeah, so I ended up deciding to go that route, and just focus on school. And yeah, I ended up not doing any sports going into
So
college.
even
So
going in as a monster for football and dedicated your like, how did you deal with that? You were just like, this is my new path, and it was easy.
yeah, it I mean it was tough because yeah, it was tough. Like I mean, it put me in my darkest place for sure. Like I went from my whole identity being around this to all of a sudden I'm now balls deep in human anatomy with a
Yeah.
professor that did not give two shits about anybody.
Mhm.
Um, and it's funny, one of the other partners in this gym, so there's the three of us that own this
Yeah.
gym, and one of the other partners is one of my best friends, and we were living together at the time. Um, and he's a physical therapist now through
Okay.
that wall. He's a physical therapist now, and uh, he so we were, again, needed to take anatomy, all that, and we both were just like, what on earth? And this professor, he was he worked at Yale at their medical school.
Okay.
Wife moved him here because of her work, and like they'd already like dedicated a bunch of time to his career,
Yeah.
and then she cheated on him and left him, and he was stuck at Weber State University. So
Oh
he
no.
had like absolute worst case scenario as far as like so he just hated his life and took it out on us. So
Rightfully so. That
cool.
sucks.
Oh yeah, it crushed our souls. And
Yeah.
then at this point, I'm like lost in that. And so, and then just all of this now, childhood trauma is starting to resonate and come up. And
Yeah.
I haven't processed any of this. And there's all of these things starting to happen. Uh, and it ended up putting me in the darkest place of my life for sure.
And well, I mean, that's what big muscles are supposed to be able to hold the sorrows, and you lost the muscles. So
I
we,
still had the muscles. It
oh, okay.
just, uh,
It didn't
yeah,
hold
it
the
just,
sadness.
no. Well, and like, we, uh, so I had a whole plan to commit suicide, and
Yeah.
I the shotgun was right in front of me, and it was funny what broke me that night. was it was obviously, I mean, we're looking at 18 years of crap that's
Right.
happened. But I had 52 cents in my bank account.
Okay.
Um, my mom, I could have asked my mom for money, but like she had no money. Like
Yeah.
we had no money. Um, I just paid rent. I had 52 cents in my bank account. Hadn't eaten that day. I had no food at my house. Nothing. And then my charger broke.
Fuck.
Like my phone charger broke.
Yeah.
Um, and I was just like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
like, um, but yeah, like it was just, I mean, it was like, so like you had this identity crisis paired with school absolutely beating the hell out of me,
Hmm.
to already struggling with school to begin with. Like school was not
Yeah.
my cup of tea. And then having no money, having absolutely haven't eaten. I've only eaten one meal in 2 days.
Mhm.
Like it was rough.
So, how did you get past that moment?
Um, I I mean I give credit to my wife. Like it was my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
Because I just kept thinking about her. I just kept thinking about her. Like it there's there's actually a statistic around, you know, young men having a powerful or just strong woman in their life
Yeah.
at a young age matters a lot. And this is specifically someone that you're dating. It can have massive impacts on your mental health in a positive way.
Hmm.
And on the flip side, if you have, like with my little brother, I know he doesn't mind me sharing this. Like
Yeah.
he had some issues with, some drugs and stuff, and it was because of his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So like it can go both ways. And women have a massive impact. We like to think downstairs instead of upstairs, and so we have that we have those things that impact us a little bit more. But like I give that credit to her because it was like that is what pulled me out of it.
Yeah.
Like I was just thinking about her. I could not think into the future.
Okay.
I couldn't. I couldn't think past the next couple of hours.
Hmm.
I There was no setting a plan for the future. There was no figuring out what my career was going to be. There was like the next thing I could worry about was if I was going to eat.
Yeah.
And so and then also the fact of just like getting out of bed was one of the hardest things for me, and getting to class and doing these things. And so I just was like having her is what legitimately pulled me out of that particular hole. And then uh from there it was running that continued to just pull me more and more out of it.
Hmm. The number is increasing. Most podcasts I have on, but most men I have on have thought about suicide. When you talk to other people about it, how do you convey that it's going to get better or that it's not worth it? Like, what goes through your head when you're talking to other people about it?
Yeah, I now at this point in my life, that the way that I think the way that I have pulled myself out of these times, it's all been centered mostly around running.
Okay.
um and I don't say you need to start running and like
Yeah.
all this stuff, but like I usually am able to, and I found ways to make the metaphors not be centered around running, but it's really come down to like the metaphors have originated from running, of
Okay.
like in an ultra marathon. For instance, when I ran across Utah, using my most extreme example, I all you have to do is take another step.
Hmm.
If you continue to take the next step, all of a sudden it gets better. It gets easier.
Hmm.
Every time you take a step, you're taking one step forward with that progress. When you're in the hole, when you've got the barrel of the shotgun there, when you are about to whatever,
Yeah.
when you're at that point, you can't really think past that.
Hmm.
But the biggest thing is the understanding that my next step is just not pulling this trigger,
Gotcha.
is not taking these pills. That's the next step. Okay, perfect. I've taken that step. Now let's go brush our teeth.
Hmm.
Okay, I've taken that next step. Let's get a good night's sleep.
Hmm.
okay, now next step, let's get out of bed.
Yeah.
And eventually the next steps get easier. Now you're getting out of bed every day and not thinking about it.
Hmm.
Now you're showering. I mean, I don't know if you've been in that place personally, but I'm sure people listening to this who have experienced these things, like showering is hard.
Yeah.
And so now you're showering every day. Now you go to the gym 3 days a week. And all of a sudden it's this trickle down effect where you have now taken so many steps forward that those first steps that you took are just a blur.
Yeah.
That you don't even understand how it was so difficult. You do, but it's like, and if you just continue to take one step at a time,
Yeah.
all of a sudden you get to the finish line. Like in this case, with my run across Utah, like it all of us, like if I just knew if I took one more step, one more step, one more step, that I would eventually get to my end goal of finishing the journey that I'd set out to do.
Hmm.
And that same exact metaphor can be applied to life.
Yeah.
And again, that end point, that journey that you take quite literally could just be getting out of bed. But you have to continue to take the next step in order to get there.
Hmm.
And it's hard. It's not easy to do.
So for you, you took the first step that was not pulling the trigger, then you're able to go to sleep. When did running become the next step for you?
Um, Running entered the picture pretty shortly after. Um, in 2016 was when I, 2016 is when I was when I almost did. Um, and then my first run was like my first trail run was January 17th, 18th of I have it.
Yep.
I gotta get the exact date now. I have it
No,
right here. It'll take me 2 seconds.
yeah, no, you're good. I'll drink some
Here we
water.
go. 2016. Perfect. Okay, there's my Spartan race. My first run was my first trail run was it was January 29th. My first run was January 15th, 2017 was my uh uh with my now
Girlfriend at
wife.
the time. Yeah.
Um and so it was pretty shortly after. It was only like a couple of months after.
Yeah.
And her family wanted to run a Spartan race.
Okay.
And so I was like, all right, I'll start training for this. Like I can't do this at 260 pounds, so I got to
Yeah.
lose some weight. Um,
How
and
how tall
so
are you?
I'm 6'2",
And you were 287,
285. Yeah.
285. That's nasty work.
Yeah. I'm a
That's
big boy.
wild. The biggest I got after doing a CrossFit football seminar was I went from I think like 185 to 237, and I was drinking half a gallon of chocolate milk a day and just lifting as much metal as I could.
Oh yeah. Let me show you. I don't know if anybody can. Oh, here. I think I got it. It's not going to focus on my. Oh, turn it off. Perfect. Okay. Now it won't focus on my face.
Okay.
Um, so that right there was me.
No way.
Yeah. I don't know if you're going to post this video with the podcast, but
Absolutely.
yeah, that was me. That
So
was me back.
would you just destroy anybody that came your way?
Um, mostly, mostly. I mean, I had 23 and a half sacks my senior year. Um, so, I was averaging a couple sacks a game.
That's nuts.
Um, so, I mean, we all have our moments out there on the field where you get manhandled by a pulling guard, but,
Yeah.
um, I was good.
That's phenomenal. So you start running. What else is going on in our life, or is it pretty much just running at that point?
Yeah. I mean, I'm in school. It's 2017. I mean, it's crazy how fast, to an extent, things turned around.
Mhm.
And I think it's just because I was running away.
Yeah.
I was running away. It all came back a little later, but no, I was running away, and so it helped kind of mask a lot that was going on. Um, and so, yeah, I'm in school. 2017, I proposed to my wife.
Okay.
Um, got married in 2018. At this point, I start racing pro Spartan. Because I mean, I
Oh,
went all in.
great.
I went all in. Like
Let's
I
go.
fell in love with Spartan races, and I was like, "Here we go, let's
Yeah.
go." Racing the World Championship in 2019.
Oh, that's super cool.
Again,
So
all in school with all of this, but
I assume you were crushing all the obstacles and like the running was a thing that like you just was like, hey, we can
yeah.
get better
So yeah, so that's where I excelled was the obstacles.
at it.
I didn't I actually never podiumed until 2022,
Yeah. Okay.
which I wasn't even racing. I just like showed up in 2022. I kind of like disappeared after COVID because I
Yeah.
got invited to be on like Team USA and do all that stuff. COVID hit, disappeared, got into the ultra running scene, but came back in 2022 and podiumed a few races and then disappeared again. But yeah, I the races that I podiumed, like it was like it when in Hawaii when I got second place, I actually dislocated my shoulder in the final quarter mile and I was in fifth place, but I was able to do like everyone's gassed
Yeah.
at this point and they put five upper body obstacles just boom 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 boom
Perfect.
right at the end.
Yeah.
And so my shoulder dislocated on with like the sixth of the five.
Yeah.
And then I climb over the A-frame, I do the monkey bars, like I did all this stuff. My shoulder's just like it was very difficult. But I had that strength behind me
Right.
to and same thing with all the other obstacles. Like, we get to the tire flips, and this is a 225-pound tire. I
Yeah.
just went boom, boom, and kept running
Well,
where
I
these guys are
love the
spending
obstacles.
minutes.
The obstacles
Yeah.
I love so much. And they're like, all right, go run. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. But I was fast enough.
Yeah.
Like I was able to run on trail with like, 2,000 feet of gain. I could run a half marathon in, 2 hours. Um, so like I was fast still, but like I'm racing against guys that are half my height and buck 20, buck
Right.
30.
Yeah.
Um, and so, like I have to be fast, but my strength, I'd crush them on a tire flip. They'd be there for 5 minutes so I could get ahead. So
Yeah.
that's how I, excelled in Spartan races was the obstacles. I just was strong and I
Yeah.
was fast enough to keep me in the running.
Well, and at some point you can only make the obstacles so hard, and then
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to be able to move them. Like it's just
Yeah.
not. It's like, oh, what are we going to do? Like half body weight pull up? Like that's not going to happen for
Yeah.
most of the people. So it's like it like you could try to make some changes, but like it is what it is. It's
Mm-hmm.
a running event with some obstacles that slow you down a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, so uh, yeah, I was just in school though. That's basically my whole adult life except this past year.
how did you visualize that much amount of school that you knew you had to do, and how did you just keep hammering it every day?
I so there's I get stuck between these two beliefs that everyone can do it, but then at the same time that not everybody has like the it factor is what
Right.
Goggins calls it. And I kind of get stuck between that because there is an aspect where it's like I don't know. I just kept going. I set a goal and I did it. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know why. Like I can tell you how I do it, but I don't know where it comes from.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was able to do these things. Like in eighth grade, for instance, in front of the whole class, my eighth grade English teacher told me that I was worthless and that I would amount to nothing. Word for word. You are worthless. You will amount to nothing. In
Educational
front of,
system. Thanks.
but in front of everyone. This is in
Yeah.
front of like my friends. This is in front of everyone. I'm being told that I'm worthless, and that I'm going to amount to nothing. And I remember it vividly.
Yeah.
It is a core memory in my head. But the big thing that happened in that moment was I said, "Okay, watch me." Like that was my response, and then
Right.
I left class, of course, because I was extremely embarrassed, um, and it obviously hurt a lot to hear from someone who's supposed to be your, you know, like is supposed to be like a mentor or like someone you look up to,
Right.
and is telling you these things. But like even then, when I was a broken kid, and I get it, I was a shithead.
Mhm.
Like I get it. Like I understand. I don't understand why an adult would say that to a kid, but I understand why she was frustrated with me.
Yeah.
Um, But I get, even in that moment, being as broken as I was, I still had that, like, okay,
Gotcha.
watch me, like, watch me, and so, like, it's this, and that's been something that's, always been in the back of my head. It never leaves you. For
Yeah.
someone that in that role is to say something like that to you, it forever changes you. It never leaves your head.
Yeah.
Um, and but yeah, like, again, and this is where I juggle between that belief of, like, because some people, they would get told that and then they would just believe it.
Right.
They would just believe it their whole lives, and it would destroy them mentally, physically, everything.
Yeah.
Um, and so, but again, I don't know where that comes from.
Hmm.
I don't know how I was able to just keep going when I'd never been taught. And maybe it was my mom,
Yeah.
seeing my mom work 2, 3 jobs to keep food on the table and keep a roof over our heads, and, like, doing these things so that we could live the lives that we lived. Maybe that's where I learned it from, was you don't get the option. There is no giving up. There's
Right.
no other option. My dad was a professional boxer.
Okay.
Um, and so maybe I got it from him, as once he got out of prison and he continued fighting, like, maybe I learned aspects of that from him, of,
Was your
like, the
dad Mike
determined.
Tyson?
He was good friends with Mike Tyson and
Oh shit.
George Foreman. I've met George Foreman. I went to church with him
Yeah.
when I was 14, because George Foreman's a pastor.
Okay.
That was quite the experience. But no, my dad tied the record for the most first round knockouts in a career.
Oh wow.
Um, he Yeah, my dad's record is 42-4 with 36 knockouts. Um, or no, 38 knockouts. 36 of those knockouts were first round knockouts. Um, my dad had quite the career.
Yeah.
But so I don't know if I got an aspect of that. Like, I didn't really get to see much of it until I got a
Yeah.
little bit older. Just because he was in prison for a
Right.
chunk of my childhood. But, like,
That slows that
um,
down.
yeah, but, like, I don't know if I learned some of it from there. Maybe it's a
Yeah.
genetic thing where, like, because there is such thing as epigenetics, where, like, like, for instance, like, the things that I have done to my health, like, positively, will
Yeah.
now, because, like, my dad is a mess when it comes to health. Like, he has a whole bunch of stuff. He's never taken great care of his body, aside from exercise.
Hmm.
Um, and so I was predisposition for all these things, but now at this point, it's like, I've done so much epigenetic changing through my nutrition and exercise
Yeah.
that now it'll be easier for my kids to stay healthy through their lifetime. And so that's uh, that maybe there's some of that comes
Right.
from that. Maybe it's from the traumas of, my mom and my dad, and my dad's childhood was a mess.
Hmm.
My dad was homeless at the age of 9. No, like, orphan, oh, a homeless orphan, not just homeless. He was a homeless orphan.
Oh shit.
Um, and so, like, he had a lot of trauma from his childhood, and so maybe there's, like, his survival instincts, passed on. And I mean, we could come up with all the different
Yeah.
things. So where it comes from, I cannot tell you. Um, and I'm going back to therapy to actually trying to uncover that.
Okay.
I'm not scared to dig something up at this point.
Hmm.
I've dug up enough dark memories that, like, there's nothing else that's going to
Yeah.
make it worse at this point. Um, and so it can't get darker.
Going through dietetics and kind of seeing how like the education system is and then our food system is, what were some of your biggest takeaways while becoming a dietitian?
Yeah. Just because someone's a professional doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. Um, I learned nothing
Oh.
in school. I've always been very obsessed with nutrition, which is why when I got accepted to dental school, I'm like,
Yeah.
why am I doing this? I love nutrition. Why not make it a career? And so it's always been, like, a big thing for me. And
Yeah.
so in school, I obviously learned some things, but, like, from, like, the things I thought I was going to learn, I knew more than I thought that I did, but then
Mhm.
also was just like, this is ridiculous. This information's outdated and incorrect.
Right.
Um, and so I got in trouble in school a lot in my master's program because I would call professors out. I had a professor um, give me an F straight up, just give me an F when I was in my master's program, and I was like,
That seems
no.
unheard of.
Oh, they were pissed at me,
Yeah.
and so they took my final project and just gave me a zero. That's what gave me an F. And so I went to the dean of the college and I was like, here's all my research. Here's everything. This
Yeah.
information is correct. It just is pointing out information that this professor taught us was incorrect.
Yeah.
And the dean of the college was like, you have to give him an A on this project. He meets all the criteria based on your rubric,
Right.
et cetera, et cetera. Um, and so then I ended up getting an A in the class. But so because I was not just going to sit back and let this information
Well,
be
and
fed to me that was incorrect.
it's so wild that you can't fathom that this new research that you're teaching that was studied 5 years ago might be wrong. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
unbelievable
nutrition is
turn of
barbaric.
events.
The science of nutrition is a barbaric science.
Yeah.
It's a completely barbaric science. Like we know nothing.
Yeah.
We know nothing. And a big reason for that is you can't do human studies on certain things.
Mhm.
And so it's information we'll have to wait another 30 years for.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's a
A
lot of
lot
research we're getting better at, but still.
a lot of it's done on animals, right? That it's like, oh, this kind of mimics the human
Yep.
body, so we'll kind of
Yep.
just take some ideas
Exactly. And
from
then
this.
we have to do observational research over a 20 to 30-year period to
Yeah,
see how these things actually impact
yeah,
our health over time. And so, yeah, it's a really tough thing to research. But and then also just like the science of understanding molecules has only been around since the early 2000s.
yeah,
And so, knowing that, for instance, soy products have a thing called phytoestrogens in them.
hmm
We just thought it was estrogen. We
yeah,
just told everyone, oh, you're going to get man boobs. No, phytoestrogens increase testosterone in men.
yeah.
Like they help regulate hormones in women. Phytoestrogens are one of the most powerful phytochemicals in the
So we should,
world. That
so we should be eating edamame.
edamame, tofu, all of it. Eat it all. Eat it all. Um, like the meat industry, it's propaganda from the meat industry from the 70s that they just like fed into us to
Yeah.
believe that you have to have meat to get strong when in reality you don't. I don't eat meat.
Okay.
Haven't eaten meat for what, 6 years now, 7 years now,
Yeah.
6 years, 6 years. Um,
What brought
so
you to stop eating meat?
I'd always been fascinated by the plant-based diet.
Okay.
I eat fish and I still eat fish. I still eat eggs. Um, I was vegan for 2 years, but I was always fascinated with the plant-based diet and just really dove into it.
Yeah.
And then went vegan for 2 years and then have been like basically pescatarian since then.
Okay.
But just like the certain compounds that come from meats, you can eat meat, eat it in moderation. It's fine.
So
I
what do you mean by the what compounds?
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways in the like, for instance, we don't have the enzymes necessary to digest meat properly. So it actually has an inflammatory toll on the body to digest meat as is because those enzymes are killed off when you cook it. The enzymes exist in meat. If you were able to eat raw meat, the
Yeah.
enzymes actually exist in the meat to
Okay.
help you digest that meat. But you can't eat raw meat, so you have to cook it, which kills off those digestive enzymes that are necessary for you to help digest that meat. So it can be inflammatory to process. And then red meat, like lean meats. So fish is the lowest end of things. Fish is, in Ron Swanson terms, fish is practically a vegetable. And then you have chicken, turkey, just poultry in general, white meats, your lean meats. This is where it's getting a little harder, but it's still, your body's still good with it. And then you get into the red meats, um, lamb, uh, beef, and then
Yeah.
game meats kind of sit in between the two
Yeah.
of like elk, bison, that stuff kind of sits in between the two
Yeah.
of that. And so that's like the scale of it getting more difficult for your body to digest. And then you also have, the high amounts of saturated fats, nitrosamines, heterocyclic amines. There's a couple of different types of amines and different things. These are just compounds
Yeah.
that cause an inflammatory response in the body, cause a lot of high amounts of free radicals. Free radicals are lost electrons essentially that are trying to attach to anything, and then
Yeah.
actually will break double bonds in our double bonds are just a type of bond in the body. I know this is a
I'm down
intricate
for it.
science thing,
No, no, I'm
but
down for it.
well, and just so everybody
Yeah.
understands that listens, like double bonds are just types of bonds in the body, and we want double bonds. They're good for us, but you actually have to break those double bonds in order for these free radicals to attach, which causes high amounts of inflammation in the body. Um, and so that's why I choose not to eat meat.
Yeah.
This isn't to say that meat is bad. It's just my personal choice, and my lifestyle and my body respond well to the diet that I currently eat.
Gotcha.
Um, if you like, I always recommend people should try cutting out meat for like a couple of weeks and see how their
Yeah.
body responds. You might not respond well, and that's fine. Continue to eat meat, but I always encourage people to try and go meatless for a period of time and see how their body responds to it.
Yeah. So like I would say my journey like growing up, I was tested for allergies for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I was allergic to dust, dogs, cats, grass, you name it, and also wheat, soy, and corn. So pretty much anything processed, like I couldn't have.
Yep.
And then
Like
uh
in your case, you need meat.
right.
You need it. So like your body will like if you don't need it, your body's not going to fight as hard
Gotcha.
to process those inflammatory like compounds.
Yeah.
If your body needs it, your body is going to fight harder to get rid of those inflammatory compounds because it's like I can't eat XYZ, so
Got
I need this other food.
Okay. Because
Um,
like I would say I have a horrible relationship with food as far as like binging because when I was younger, the doctor was like, "Hey, you can throw in these foods once a week and kind of see how you react to it." And I was like,
mhm.
"Great. I'm gonna, you know how people have like a shower beer? Like I would have a shower bagel. Like I'm taking that, like taking these carbs whenever I can. But just like I
Yeah.
never learned how to listen to my body to tell you when you were full and I
Mhm.
primarily just eat meat, and that has allowed me to not overeat on things.
Mhm.
But as far as like the inflammatory stuff, I never knew that was a thing for eating meat. So that's interesting that I haven't heard that portion of it before.
Yeah, and there's a lot of research behind this. I'm
Yeah.
not just pulling this
No, no,
stuff
no,
out of
no.
nowhere. There's a
Absolutely,
lot of
absolutely.
research behind this and
Yeah.
how these foods impact us. Now, quality matters.
Yes.
Quality matters. If you're getting beef, for instance,
Mhm.
from a local butcher
Yeah.
who that they're pasture raised cows eating high quality food, and it's locally slaughtered, you're not going through the whole food chain, like the
Right.
food supply chain. That's great.
Yeah.
That's
We
fine.
we
Like
have we
that.
have a freezer with half a cow in it, so that's we we made the move a
Yes. So
couple years
you're yeah,
ago.
you're doing it right. So in that case, like that inflammatory response is even less
Yeah.
because now you're getting the highest quality food possible.
Hmm.
And so that's, if you're getting super high quality meats, then you're in a good spot.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I did a half Ironman Sunday.
Nice.
And
Congrats.
when I
What
do
was your
like
time?
what?
What was your time?
6:52,
Nice.
I went so fast on the bike. I was going like 22, 23 miles per hour. I'm like, man, like I did an okay amount of training. Like if I do a little bit more training, like pros, here we come. And just died.
Dude,
And
we need to work together. We need to work together. So that's what I do for like my job.
yeah,
Like working in this office is not just owning the gym that's out right there. So I work with athletes. I
yeah,
work mainly with and I work with everyone, but I work on fueling strategies for athletes.
yeah,
We work on day-to-day nutrition, dialing in the nutrition day to day, but then also your
yeah.
fueling strategies going into your race. Because I
Mhm.
mean, I guarantee you, with the right fueling strategy, you would have been
Are
almost
you
sub five or
you
sub
mean
six.
you mean three burger patties for breakfast wasn't enough?
That no, it's not. Um, so yeah, we should work together.
Yeah,
We should work
I would
together.
say I've had a lot of coaches, and as a past coach myself, I'm an awful client, but things have gotten a little bit better.
Yeah.
But so this kind of leads into my next question. As far as like for you and coaching, how do you deal with obviously you know exactly what they should be doing, but I think the following along for general population is really tough. So like where do you see the best success as far as that goes with more like gen pop, not hardcore athletes?
So this is when working with a dietitian in particular
Mhm.
is important because, and this isn't to say this is all nutritionists, but most nutritionists are going to go, hey, do this, and hand you a pamphlet or whatever of what to
Absolutely.
follow
Yeah.
and hope it works for you. They don't know how to properly apply nutrition practice.
Yeah.
That is the one thing I learned in school was the proper application of nutrition, and I learned that from my rotations. Like I had to do a year of clinical rotations,
Yep.
and so I learned that application through that. And so it's with that like the understanding that this meal plan's not going to work for everyone.
Hmm.
I don't do meal plans; they
Yeah.
don't work. And so what I do is I work with the individual's diet. So in your case, you have allergies. So we work around that. I let's say I get like I have some older clients. I had a client at one point who lived in rural Montana.
Okay.
Bro's not going to go eat tofu. Like he's not.
Yeah.
He's a redneck. Like he does the forest fire stuff. Like he jumps
Oh
out of
man.
like
Hot
helicopters.
shots.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, like he's like doing that kind of stuff, like redneck country boy. Like he's not going to eat tofu,
Hmm.
even though he should, even though all the research says that he should be eating tofu.
Yeah.
He's not going to. So I work with his diet. I go, okay, do you have a local butcher?
Hmm.
Great. I want you to start getting your cows from there. Pork, no more.
Yeah.
Okay, I can at least tell him no more pork. I want you to get the chicken, turkey, whatever you can get locally, get that. And then I know you live in Montana, so I know you have access to trout.
Hmm.
So get some trout locally. Like and then working some vegetables in there.
Hmm.
Understanding that he's not going to give up red meat. He's not. He's going
Yeah.
to eat his ribeye every night. Like there's nothing I can do about that. So how can I make that better? Okay, some nights let's have some fish.
Yeah.
When you have that steak, I want you to have green beans, a side salad with like spinach and whatever else in there. Get some tomatoes in there, and then have a sweet potato instead of a regular potato.
Okay.
And assuming he likes sweet potatoes, but
Yeah.
like or but again, it's working with what they're already eating and implementing it. I have put I don't even know how many athletes at this point through ultra marathons. Um, between the goals, I've only had one failure from a nutrition standpoint
Yeah.
in an ultra in general, and
Yeah.
it happened to be an ultra marathon, and I take accountability for it, even though it was a physiological problem that I had no control over. I still take accountability for it because it was a nutrition related issue.
Yeah.
Nothing I really could have done in that situation, but I do take the accountability for it. But outside of that, like success rates from like I've had a few clients who are looking for weight loss who
Mm.
have had significant success with their weight loss and maintaining weight loss after no longer working with me.
That's awesome.
Um, like I have a very, very high success rate, and it's because of the actual application of the nutrition.
Yeah.
It matters. I take the time with my clients. I don't just hand them a pamphlet with other dietitians, within the system, like working in like the healthcare system. They
Yeah.
only get like 10 minutes with you and you get to meet with them once.
Right.
I'm working with my clients on a long-term basis. We're spending 45 minutes instead of 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We're taking that time multiple times a month, once a month, however many times I'm meeting with the individual to break everything down and to actually apply proper nutrition to the diet they're already eating. And
Yeah.
I've had significant success from it.
Hmm. That's phenomenal. So how do you apply that to whatever wild event that you have coming up next or when you have a big run coming up?
Yeah. So my next event, I'm training to run 1,000 miles. What that 1,000 mile run is going to be is a mystery, not for me, but it gets to be a mystery for the public. Because I don't want to announce it yet.
Yeah.
I've announced that I'm running 1,000 miles, but what that 1,000 miles
That
is going to be a
far.
mystery.
Well, and that's the
Mhm.
problem with doing these podcasts. Like I have a hard time like getting off the plane, my hamstrings are so tight. I'm like, I'm gonna go talk to a guy that just ran across Utah, or like I talked to Mark Donald that just ran like 3 days in a row, and it's just like, oh man,
Yeah,
it's
it's
just animals. So a thousand
you
miles.
can do it.
How did you pick? How did you pick 1,000 miles?
I don't know, man. I was thinking about running the length of the UK or Italy. That was
Okay.
like on the list. It was 1,100 miles. I opened this gym, and so logistically, I was just like, I can't leave my gym for a month.
Yeah.
I can't go to Italy. I can't go to the UK. I can't do that for a month.
Yeah.
So, but I was like, I want to run 1,000 miles. Both those runs were Italy was like 980. The UK was 1,100.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna run 1,000 miles. And I get that that's very vague because I have like an actual plan
Mm.
uh, of like what that 1,000 miles is gonna look like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be 1,000 miles. My goal is 14 days.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
14
like,
days.
so for me, I've always had um like a muscular issue or like flexibility. Like I tried the Goggins 4x4 like when COVID happened because I was just bored. And just my hip flexors tightened up, and on the half Ironman, it was my quads just tightened up, like they're just spasming, couldn't I guess it wasn't spasming, just that they said you're done, and they would just cramp up as I try to use them. When you're doing 420 miles or whatever wild run you're doing, do you just not have those issues, or it's just like, nope, I got them, I'm gonna keep going?
All mental. It's all mental. Have you seen my documentary?
No.
You need to go watch my documentary. You'll see a lot of it. It's called Run Across. It's called Worn Legs.
Is it
420
on your
miles across.
Instagram?
It's on YouTube.
Okay, okay. Well,
Yeah,
the
it's
link.
called.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Everything's on. Yeah, if you just look up on YouTube Worn Legs or Run Across Utah, it's going to be
Okay.
the only thing that pops up. Um, so because yeah, there's not another Run Across Utah documentary, but that yeah. So there's a lot that goes into it. Like
Yeah.
we thought my leg was broken on day 6. My Achilles on day 3 was swelling up so much that Jeffrey would have to. Jeffrey was my crew chief. You have these things called bursa sacs that
Yep.
protect your tendons from your bones, and he would have to pop my bursa sacs because they were filling up with so much fluid. Um, oh no, I had so many problems. It's all mental though. It's all mental.
Have you ever quit on any of your runs?
Never. I've never DNF'd. I'm not saying I won't.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. I'm kind of waiting for the day that it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, but I just keep finishing my first official ultra marathon. I'd run other ultras.
Yeah.
They were just like I ran the Grand Canyon, I ran Kings Peak. There were
Yeah.
different things like huge, obviously, but like they were self-sanctioned. Like I
Yeah.
just went and did it. My first official ultra was 100K. It was actually a 90K, but I got lost, so it turned into 100K. But it was 100K. It was called Whiskey Basin down in Prescott, Arizona. You run the entire mountain ridge of Prescott,
Okay.
Arizona, because Prescott sits in a bowl.
Yeah.
And there's a big mountain range that goes around it, and you literally have to like drive over the mountain to get into Prescott. And same thing getting out. Um, but this race at mile 20, I tore my posterior tib, which is a tendon that runs from your foot all the way up, or sorry, all the way up to like right here. They call it your runner's Achilles because it's what supports your arch, and also like is a big same exact like it helps with the same motion the Achilles does. And I tore it at mile 20, and I finished the race. I ran 40 miles on it torn. Um, and so like that, I didn't know any better. I went into that race not knowing anything. But like that should have been a race I DNF'd. I didn't DNF. Run across Utah.
So
I had every opportunity to
what
quit.
pace are you finishing that at?
I finished that 100K in just under 16 hours. But then I had run across Utah, where I had so many problems, but continued forward. Then I just a couple of weeks ago, I had a 50 miler, and so I this gym just got built. it's brand new. We're
Yeah.
not even a month into this. Um, and while I was building the equipment, so I had a week. I did my shortest day was 12 hours. My longest day was 18 hours. Um, for from Sunday until Friday when we drove. I then drove a 1988 RV, which is not easy to drive. If anybody's driving big rigs is actually physically difficult, and then old big rigs is even harder.
Yeah.
Then I had to drive that down to southern Utah, in Moab. The next morning, woke up, ran 50 miles. So I was mentally exhausted. I hadn't barely slept the whole week, barely slept the night before the race. I was physically broken because I was building gym equipment.
Yeah.
We're talking lifting hundreds of pounds over and over and over and over and over again, all day, every day, without any rest. I would take 15 minutes to eat lunch. That was it, every single day. And then went down and ran this 50 miler. So when I get down there, I had a handful. I signed up for it at 3 weeks notice.
Perfect.
Um, I had a hand, so I didn't train for it at all. Um, and I had a handful of friends running it, and then we had all of our like ultra running friends who came down and crewed for everyone. And my wife was there, and uh, one of my really good buddies, who's like my one of my ultra running inspirations. His name's Nate Williams, and
Okay.
he he's up there with like David Goggins. No one knows him because he's not on social media,
Yeah.
but like, he's podiumed with David Goggins, with McKnight, with like these big names, at like Moab 240, Tahoe 200, like some of the biggest races, Cocodona,
Hmm.
biggest races in the world. Um, he's a big inspiration of mine, but he was there and he knows the ultra world very well. He understands when, like, he can look at a person and go, they're going to finish, they're not going to finish. And he's like 95% accurate
Yeah.
because he just knows the mental side of it so well. Um, and so I go into this race, and he didn't say this to my face. After the race, he was telling me about it. He was like, he told me after the race, he goes, I have no fucking clue how you finished, word for word.
Yeah.
Um, because he just was like going to that race, he was waiting for me to come at, because it was a double loop. You had ran two marathons.
Okay.
You ran the first marathon and then ran the second marathon. Um, and he was expecting me to come into that first lap and quit.
Yeah.
Um, just because again, mentally I was a mess. I
Yeah.
was also, oh, not to mention, I woke up that morning sick as a dog. I couldn't breathe out my nose at all. My lungs were on fire. My head was pounding. I was so sick when I woke up the morning of the race.
Yeah.
So he was just like, this guy's not going to make it. And I mean, Nate's one of my best friends. Like Nate, it's not like an ill will of like, oh, he's
Right.
not going to finish. Like he knows the world and he knows what it takes to finish a race. And he was like, this guy's not going to finish. He's like, the cards they're not played for him. And I come in at mile 26 and I'm just like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
You got, like, my wife's right there. I'm like, hey, you got my sandwiches? And then I sit down, I eat my PB&J, and uh, they go and they fill up my waters for me. And they're like, how you doing? I'm like, I'm doing great. I'm ready to keep going. Ended up running the race in 12 hours, placed top 20. Um,
Oh, ow, Jesus.
yeah. And so I, uh, completely untrained.
Yeah.
Mentally, I should not have been there. Physically, I was a mess. Um, I had every odd was in my favor going into the, or not in my favor.
Yeah.
Sorry. Everything. I was sick. I was sore. I felt like I had just done 30 leg days in a row. I like just mentally, again, I'm building a business. I'm not just building gym equipment. I have meetings while
Yeah.
building gym equipment, figuring out taxes, figuring out business licenses, running permits. The gym's still under construction, so I'm still managing that. So like mentally, I'm an absolute mess. I'm exhausted. I haven't slept. So everything was against me going into this race, and it just was like that race was very special to me because it was so random. It was a random race. I didn't think it was going to turn into this massive moment in my life, but it was, again, it just shows the testament of mindset
You just
that you can do anything you put your mind to. You just have to believe that you can do it.
yeah. Just pulling a Jocko. Good. Yeah. My
Yep.
body hurts. I've been building equipment the last 3 days. Good. Just drove
Yeah.
here, woke up sick. Good. Just
Good. Yeah, I mean that's really what it was at. And I not to say I didn't have a complete mental breakdown the night before the race and
Yeah,
throw my vest at the wall. Like I had a complete nervous breakdown the night before the race. This isn't to say it was all fine and dandy.
right.
Um, but it goes back to like what we talked about at the beginning of this podcast, that one foot in front of the other.
Yeah,
You take that next step, all of a sudden that step's over. You just got to take the next one and then the
yeah,
next one, the next one. And before you know it, you're at the finish line. And it's just that mindset. I didn't think I was going to run it that fast.
yeah.
I thought I was going to be coming in at cutoff.
Hmm.
And my buddy that, my buddy who didn't think I would finish, he was like, if he does finish, it's going to beat the cutoff.
Hmm.
And I came in chipper as can be. We came in at like a 7-minute mile, finishing the last like half mile, like a 7-minute mile. I ended up getting to finish. So because I was so sick, I couldn't breathe at the beginning of the race. And my shoe came untied. And I was like, so I used it as an excuse because I was running with my two friends and they were just moving faster and better than me.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to tie my shoe. So I stopped to tie my shoe so that I wasn't like killing myself keeping up with them. I ended up passing the one, and then I finished the race with the other girl that was running.
So,
And so we finished together. And then to finish, we did 10 push-ups at the finish line.
so is that 7 minute mile? Do you just have a super fast cadence? Are you able to have a huge stride? Like that's wild after
Yeah.
49 miles.
I uh
Because your gait's got to change.
yeah, your gate's different, but you're still like I mean when I finished running across Utah, I'm at mile 420. It was 421 miles. I'm at mile 420, sitting
Yeah.
at the uh I say the top of the hill. It was like this very slight decline.
Yeah.
Um and I'm sitting there with Jeffrey, and I've got like 6 or 7 people that are running with me. Nate, my one buddy,
Yeah.
and his girlfriend were there with me. I wrote a poem that a buddy of mine helped compose into a song that's on Spotify, also called Worn Legs.
Okay.
And it's just a little poem that I wrote about running and how powerful, like just like what running means to me. But
Yeah.
it's very poetic. Hence, it's a poem. But we listened to that song. I gave Jeffrey a hug because I knew like my wife and my mom and my dad, everyone was at the
Yeah.
finish line. So I knew that moment with Jeffrey. I was like, I wanted to like thank him for everything that he'd done to get me to this point. Had that moment. I put my poles down in the van. I've been running with poles the whole time because it
Yeah.
was the only thing that kept me up.
Yeah.
And I was like, we got to finish this with a bang. So I put my poles in,
Yeah.
and I ran a 5:30 mile for the
Get
final
the
mile
fuck
of run across Utah.
Jeez Louise.
520 miles deep, or 420 miles deep.
Oh man.
um, and so, and then I'm going to go back into running across Utah.
Yeah.
My day 7. So this was after we thought my leg was broken. Jeffrey and Tanner had packed up their things.
Yeah.
We were ready to go home. And I told them, I was like, no, we're doing this one more day. I have to try one more time. I can't quit like this. It's got one more day. And Nate actually helped. Nate was there at this time as well. Nate and Anna came and ran with me for a day and a half, day 6 and 7. It was like half a day. It was roughly a day and a half that they ran with me. They camped with us. And that night they camped with us was the night I couldn't put any weight on my leg. And Nate was like, don't make a decision in the dark.
Hmm.
Never, ever make a decision in the dark, which goes like in a 100-mile race, you run through the dark. If
Yeah.
you don't make a decision in the dark, you're never going to quit.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, the course is going to take me out then. I'm going to let the course take me out.
Yeah.
So I get out of the van. My leg's on fire. I still can barely walk, but I get out of the van and I start moving, and then I start running. And then we start running into like 25, it was like 25, 30 mile per hour headwinds. I just kept going and kept going. And then I told myself 40 miles. I was
Yeah.
like, at that point, I was like, if I'm going to finish this day, we are doing 40 miles no matter what.
Mm.
But I also had my time limit because I can't be out there all day. You just
Yeah.
can't. So we're getting to 13 hours. I had 28 minutes and 3 miles to go.
Yeah.
At this point, that's a fast 5K.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have to get 40 miles. This has to happen. I'm not going to not hit 40 miles. I have to prove to myself that I can run, that I can do this.
Yeah.
Like I told myself I could do this. So we're going to give it everything in my power. leave everything out here. That was my thing every day, was you have to leave everything out on the road. Does
Yeah.
not matter how you feel. You leave 100% of what you have. Even if you have 10% in the tank, you leave 100% of that 10% out on the road.
Yeah.
So I picked up my poles and I started running, and I ran that 5K in 24 minutes, um, at mile 30, 37,
Yeah.
roughly. Um, so you can do it.
That's that's wild. My kids are going to be so confused, but I'm so pumped up when I see them in a little bit. Um, so
Do
you're
it.
just surrounded by animals. Like that's just your environment. You guys are all animals.
Yeah, to an extent. Yeah, to an extent for sure. Like it's like, yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, no
what
one was there. It
yeah.
was just me and my crew. When I did that 5K, no one was
Yeah.
there. It was
Well,
just
no,
me and my crew.
just like
Yeah.
in life in general, it seems like
Oh
you're
yeah.
just surrounded by animals. So
Well, and
what is
I've surrounded myself with those people.
yeah.
Like it's your environment matters.
Yeah.
We already talked about the environment. I mean, we're just coming, it's all coming back.
Yep.
You'll notice how it's all coming back together. Like, hopefully you've stuck around this long listening, because
Yep.
it's all coming back together. Like your environment is everything. So growing up where I grew up, like that, it's like having the people around me, the environment around me, it was everything. And now as I've gotten older, I don't surround myself with certain people. I have cut
Yeah.
people off in my life. Like I've had the hard discussions. I've made the hard decisions. Like you have to cut people off.
Hmm.
And as harsh as it might sound, like those people might be blood.
Yeah.
If you consistently have someone in your life that is continually bringing you down with them,
Hmm.
you can't have them around you.
Yeah.
And then you also have to surround yourself. You can't do it alone. Ultra running's a team sport. You might just see my face out there, but I also have Jeffrey, I have Tanner, I have Nate, I have my wife. My wife is in my corner every day.
Yeah.
This morning she took both the dogs out so I could go for my training run, even though she still had work, but I needed, because I had to get here and I had meetings and stuff. So like my wife is in my corner every single day. Your spouse can sometimes be that negative person. Like again, it sounds harsh, but it's also the reality you have to
Right.
acknowledge if you want to be successful. And then like in business, like I've had to cut people out of my life from a business perspective. I've surrounded myself with the right people. And then in the running world, like, which has also become my life really, like I don't allow certain people in.
Yeah.
I only allow certain people to be around me and be in my circle. Like I had a discussion with someone who is going to be coming and working with us for my 1,000-mile run.
Yeah.
And he, like, I was very clear with him. I was like, I want you to meet the crew, because it's important that everybody gets along, because the environment out there matters more than anything. It doesn't matter how much shape I am. If the environment's a mess, I'm not going to finish.
Mhm.
So I need to make sure you get along with everyone before we say yes to this. And so like it's continually being okay with saying that to someone.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I like you, but I need to make sure everyone else likes you.
Yeah.
Um, in this specific
No,
situation,
absolutely. So
your environment's everything.
what type of empire and business are you building?
Um, I'm just trying to build a successful life for myself and my kids.
Yeah.
I don't really care. I don't have kids yet, but when I
Yeah.
have kids, like I don't care to be a millionaire, a billionaire. I just want success for everyone that is in my immediate circle.
Yeah.
And so whatever that looks like, for like I have this opportunity to open this gym.
Right.
I got, I had an opportunity I couldn't pass up. And so I went with it. I took the risk to be here right now.
Hmm.
I had job opportunities to go work. I had a job opportunity at Lone Peak Hospital to go work, and I was going to make good money, and uh, I would have still been able to do the things that I do with ultra running. But that's not like, I shouldn't say true success, but if you want financial freedom, you
Yeah.
can't work for someone.
Right.
And so I had this opportunity. So I was like, I'm going to take this because I want that success for everyone around me.
Hmm.
I want to build a future that allows my wife, that allows my kids, that allows myself to live the lifestyles we want, without having to compromise.
Hmm.
That's all I want. I don't need to build an empire,
Well,
or
as
no. And I like the word
yeah.
empire, but like it's, I don't need to build I don't need to build some mega
Yeah.
dream. It
Yeah.
just
Well,
needs to be something that,
I guess I'll ask that as a better question. What type of unstoppable force will your clients or the people that go to your gym, like what is it that you're building there?
oh, I want to, this has been a mission of mine since even like when I was going to dental school or
Okay.
wanting to go to dental school. Like, I want to make the world a healthy place,
Okay. Love it.
even if it's one person at a time.
Yep.
Like, I want the world to be healthier. We live in such an unhealthy world. And this isn't physical health, it's
Yeah.
mental health. We spend so much time on these stupid boxes and these screens that we're on right now.
Yep.
Like, we spend so much time wasting our lives away
Yeah.
with these things. And so I hope that with my messaging on Instagram, through these podcasts, let the time we are spending on them,
Yeah.
you're at least getting some positivity. You're, you're seeing me do this thing that's like, oh, maybe I can do that. For all my work that I do with the single parent project, that's who I run for when I do these runs. Like, the hope that there's a kid out there that sees what I'm doing and believes that they can break the cycle themselves.
Yeah.
That, maybe they have, maybe someone, whatever, that in the hopes that there's just, against one person at a time. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be macro, it can be micro.
Yeah.
Because then they'll do it to the next person and then the next person and the next person. And it bleeds into society
100%.
in the positive way. And I actually just posted a reel today. I don't know when you're posting this, but
Yeah.
as of today, Tuesday, December 9th,
Yeah.
I posted a reel today um, that was about perspective.
Okay.
And that, one of the biggest things that has changed my trajectory in life is changing my perspective around things.
Mhm.
And uh, like, this year, 2025 was the greatest year of my life,
Love it.
without fail. But I also know that so many people have also experienced a similar significant life events, similar positive things, similar whatever, and still are saying that, like, my life sucks. This year sucked. Like, life sucks, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's about perspective, because life, to an extent, it's not easy to be alive right now,
Yeah.
but it's about your perspective on the life that you're living will
Yeah.
change everything. And so it's just like that perspective. And again, posting that video of like, I want, like, take if you learn anything from me today, like, have your goal for 2026, have one of your goals be to change your perspective on the way that you look at life.
Yeah.
And so my hopes is that at least one person sees that
Hmm.
and goes, yeah, and that 2026 ends up being their year.
Yeah.
And then it continues. And then 2027 is their year, and then 2028. And life's going to happen for whatever reason. Maybe 2029 sucks.
Yeah.
Maybe, someone, like, you might lose someone.
Hmm.
You might lose a loved one, like a grandparent might die, a parent might die. Like, you might lose someone. Like, that's something that perspective matters, but also you lost someone. And so, like, someone in 2025 might have had that happen to them. And so
Yeah.
2025 can't be their year because of, so life still happens, but perspective will make it so you don't just continue to go down,
Hmm.
and that you stay up and don't dig yourself deeper
Hmm.
and deeper and deeper until you're too deep.
Yeah. No, and that's great. It leads great into the last two questions that I ask everybody. But what's your definition of health? Not necessarily the dictionary definition, but what
Mhm.
is health to you?
health is Health is the ability to live your dream life. You might not be able to live your dream life, but it's knowing that you have the ability to do so.
Okay.
That is health.
I love that. And then what's something from your life that people listening to the podcast would be able to take away for the positive? I know you hit the perspective one already, but if there's another one, feel free to let that fly too.
Um, Say that question again.
If there's something from your life that somebody would be able to take away as a positive.
Um, I would say that stop dwelling in the past and continue to look forward. If
There
you
we go.
dwell in the past, it just digs you deeper. So I would say that it goes down to the taking the steps forward and changing your perspective. It's you
Absolutely.
versus you. I think that's, I'm gonna rephrase that to it's you
Yeah.
versus you.
Okay.
It's you versus you.
Like that. Absolutely. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.